Sophie Cunningham's injury scared everybody half to death, man.
So Sophie Cunningham went down with what did not look like the greatest injury.
Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever, just gave a major curveball regarding Sophie Cunningham's injury. No, it's not your usual update. She is recovering nicely. There are more layers of tension and a few plot twists in this story than anyone anticipated on their preseason bingo card. If you were expecting Sophie to return to the court with some tape and motivational speech, think again.
Went down, rolled her ankle after landing on Ryan Howard's leg, which is not an ideal situation, not an ideal thing at all coming into the season.
Let's be clear, Sophie Cunningham is not Indiana's best scorer or most spectacular playmaker, but she is irreplaceable, the enforcer, the physical tone setter, and the one who ensures that no opponent feels at ease. As such, when Coach White announced Sophie's recovery, it wasn't just a medical update, it was a cultural one, as losing Sophie, even temporarily, isn't about missing buckets. It's about missing presence, toughness, and the emotional thermostat of this team. If you're excited for Sophie and the Fever to return to action, leave a comment below and let's go.
Let's talk this game. Number one, the starters for Indiana were okay, right? We ended up seeing a change in the starting lineup. We saw Sophie Cunningham get the starting nod. However, Sophie Cunningham had to go out of the game. I forgot what half that was, if that was in the first half or the second half, but Sophie Cunningham was coming down. She was in the air, coming down. She ended up rolling her ankle on Ryan Howard's foot. She went out of the game, was on the bench for a little while, and I believe she went to the locker room, but she did not return back.
Though it wasn't entirely depressing, the update did highlight how important Sophie is to Indiana's environment, even though she wasn't the main storyline. Although Caitlin Clark is the center of attention, she is the one who does the grunt labor so that everyone else can shine more easily. Cunningham has a role that doesn't appear in highlight reels, but every coach and player knows that you can't win without a Sophie. Instead of chasing glory, she chases loose balls, rotates on defense as if her life depended on it, and stares down anyone who thinks they'll take liberties with her teammates.
Sophie Cunningham got injured, okay? She got injured. She landed on her ankle the wrong way. Let's go ahead and look through the play right now, all right? So here she is here, coming for the rebound, boom, and lands on Ryan Howard's foot the wrong way, and she was hoping.
There was a moment of denial among the team when the injury initially occurred, thinking that perhaps it would just be a knock and that Sophie would get better because she usually gets hurt, wipes off the dust, and jumps back in. However, this time was different. The pain persisted, the scans returned, and the team was suddenly faced with the prospect of playing, even temporarily, without their enforcer. It's like taking down the guardrails on a roller coaster. It might still run, but it feels less stable.
At that moment, everybody was scared in the live stream, man. I was holding my breath, my face was fixed a certain way that looked crazy. I mean, we were scared in there, okay? Now, the main thing is, yes, she twisted her ankle, okay? And she was out for the rest of the game.
Coach White wasn't holding back when she stated that Cunningham's absence creates a gap in the kind of strength and mental toughness that converts competitive games into victories, not just in points per game. Sophie is the type of player who provides a team an advantage. Without her, Indiana would have to work harder, and someone else would have to take up the grit she consistently brings to the floor. She is the one who yells defensive calls, gets under the opponent's skin, and celebrates charges like they're dunks.
Just giving a different kind of look and seeing what we might be able to do from that standpoint with Sophie's energy in the starting lineup and with DB's production coming off the bench. So, we'll probably continue throughout the course of the week tinkering a little bit. But preseason gives us a good opportunity to see what we like, because it's important to have a good starting group and it's important to have energy out and production off the bench.
But don't get it twisted. Sophie isn't just sitting on the sidelines. She's already planning rehab. It's not just a recovery plan for her. It's a mission, a checklist, and a moment in the making. If you followed her career, you know she doesn't hang back. She's probably counting down the minutes until she can body check someone in the paint once more. This isn't a setback for her. Rather, it's a delay, and when she returns, Expect her to channel all of her frustration into the kind of basketball that leaves bruises and turns tides.
Sophie's injury too. Like, is there any update on that?
I don't think so. She was in there getting in a cold tub, so she keeps saying I'll be fine, so I trust.
The way Sophie's injury is affecting the Fever is what makes this situation even more compelling. Sure, the team has a few rising stars, but Cunningham is the one who dives for balls like they're diamonds and chirps opponents just enough to throw them off rhythm. She is the team's emotional GPS. When the energy drops, she spikes it. When things get too quiet, she creates noise. Indiana needs someone to fill that void, and let's face it, watching the Fever play without Sophie will be difficult. It would be like watching a band perform without drums. The music is still there, but the rhythm isn't quite right. Cunningham has been referred to as a glue player, but even that seems like an understatement given that she functions more as the shock absorber, absorbing contact, heat, and tension to make the ride smoother for everyone else. Without her, the team feels a little more human, the bumps feel bumpier, and the contact hits harder.
So I hope that Sophie Cunningham is okay. Again, it looks like a rolled ankle, so hopefully it's not too bad. Maybe she's out for a day or so, we'll see. We'll find out an update from the.
What does this signify for the coach of the near future? White was measured, but to be honest, there is haste but no panic. Sophie's schedule is uncertain, and although there is hope, there is also realism. Naturally, the team is coming together. Kelly continues to be enchanted by Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah is getting heated by Mitchell. Although Boston is a dangerous team that can play both ways, there is a recognition that Indiana needs to change not only their lineups, but also their mindset without Sophie interfering.
That's a positive thing. She was like trying to see if she could get back in the game. Obviously, they're not dumb. They're not going to put her back into a preseason game. But she was trying to get back into the game, which is big. Like, if we're honest, that is genuinely big.
The bottom line, Sophie Cunningham may not be the show's star, but she's the one keeping the lights on and the roof from collapsing. So even though her absence won't make headlines, her return will feel seismic because she's the Fever's spine, the heartbeat that doesn't always get noticed until it's gone. While the league continues to swoon over flash and finesse, Indiana knows the real secret sauce is grit, and nobody brings the grit like Sophie. So while she's recovering, don't expect a slow re-entry. Instead, expect a storm.
She is okay, all right? It did look like it could have been something worse because of how she landed, and it was like more so of an Achilles looking stretch instead of a twisted sideways foot. So that's what scared me. But nonetheless, man, it came out that it was a twisted ankle and she was okay, and she was just gonna sit out for the rest of the game.
Stephanie White, the unflappable tactician in charge of the Indiana Fever, doesn't panic, if anything. She most likely heard the most recent information on Sophie Cunningham's status, nodded once, and then calmly returned to brainstorming plays on a napkin because White is aware that she's not just losing a scorer. Rather, she's temporarily losing the engine that keeps the team moving forward. While this isn't your typical injury update, it's also not a season-ending tragedy. Rather, it's layered and raises questions, sparks discussions, and makes it abundantly evident that this team isn't the same without Sophie holding things down, let's face it. Although Caitlin Clark is the franchise's face, Sophie Cunningham is the driving force behind it. She is the type of player who connects everything. She is a hybrid of an enforcer, energizer bunny, and chaos coordinator. Her injury news came as a shock. Not because the squad falters without her, but rather because it becomes less competitive. Sophie is the grit that keeps the glamour going whether a game calls for toughness, attitude, or just someone to spice things up under the basket. She does more than just play. It's Sophie who gets her hands filthy. Since Cunningham is the kind of competitor who views rehab as an interlude in her own action film rather than a timeout, her absence doesn't portend disaster. Rather, it heralds a change in the Fever's entire dynamic.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. You know, she's definitely an X factor.
While most athletes might use an ice pack and a calm recovery plan during an injury break, Sophie, as we all know, isn't interested in showing sympathy. Sophie is planning her re-entry as if she were returning from a covert mission. This isn't a setback in Sophie's world. It's a loading screen before she gets back up and executes a few more hard fouls and hustle plays. Her recuperation isn't just physical, it's strategic. She's probably already watching tape, memorizing every rotation, and texting the rookies to remind them to box out.
It's Kiki Arifin, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA.
Sophie was known for her resilience, but she also ate contact for breakfast. After that mysterious shove, she fell to the ground, but she got back up as if gravity had personally offended her. There were no dramatics or hesitations, just a steely look and a whispered vow to return stronger. Because pain is only a temporary solution, Sophie is the ideal counterpoint to Indiana's delicacy. When the Fever need flash, they have Caitlin Clark, but Sophie is all they need when they need fire.
I mean, yikes, Kiki, the new Kennedy. A lot of people not happy. Demon Sophie, yeah, she showed up. Look at this. They're celebrating that. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. Here we go again. Here we go again. She's yelling while Kiki's laughing in her face. Never seen a rook have a vet so...
You can see how crucial Sophie Cunningham is to this team by taking her off the floor. The rotations don't come together as well, and the tempo seems a bit too courteous. Think of Sophie as a defensive thermostat who not only sets the emotional temperature, but also turns up the heat when opponents start acting bold. When games get messy, Sophie embraces the chaos and finds rhythm in it, which is something you don't find in stat sheets.
Well, first and foremost, they play so hard. They play with multiple levels of effort. They're both just tough as nails. They have length. They use their length really well, their activity level on the defensive end and offensively. I mean, they're like mirror images of one another. I mean, the way that they can cut, the way that they can spread the floor, and what they bring on the defense.
She is allowing others to shine, even though she doesn't have to drop 40 every night. Don't be fooled by Sophie's rugged look. She has a high basketball IQ and clear space. She takes command and barks commands like a point guard in a power forward's physique. Her intuition is keen, and she has exceptional ability to gauge a game's flow. You miss her voice when she's sitting on the bench, but you can sense her presence when she's on the court.
Sure that your home court is special to you as a team, but you want to make it hard as heck for other people to come in here to Gamebridge, and they don't want to play here, right? And I think with that, as an energy player, you got to get your fans involved. That's our sixth man right now.
Everyone's favorite analogy, the Fever, are still a talented band without the drummer, but something is missing. They are technically a great band without the drummer's pulse, but Sophie gives them that beat that makes them tick. Right now, without her, the team is attempting to figure out how to keep the rhythm going until she returns. Sophie is the glue, but she's that industrial strength adhesive that keeps the whole thing from falling apart.